this video, we're just going to look at comparing data sets and creating a parallel box plot to compare them. So, here we have two classes and their associated scores, I suppose, on something. And we're just going to compare these to create the 5-figure summary and compare them. So the first thing we need to do is check that they are in order, which they are not. So we need to reorder these data points. So we're going to start with class A, and we're just going to cross them off as we go from smallest to largest. So it looks at the first value, the smallest value is going to be 12, and then it's going to be 22, and then 25, 20, anything else? 27, 28, and then we have no more 20s, so looking at 32, and then 34, just here, 42, 44, oh, there's another 44, and after 44, we're looking at 48, and then looks like 49, and then we're left with two 50s. Okay, so class A has been sorted, and now let's do actually, we'll leave it with space, and we'll do class B. Okay, so class B, we are looking across here. What's the lowest value? It looks like it's 17. And then we have an 18, 21. What's next? We have a 22, 25, 30, 33, and if you find that you've skipped a value, just make sure to put an arrow and point out where it is in the list of ascending values. So this is why this is a really good way. Just cross them out as you go. If you make a mistake, just fix it up. So next is 37. What else? 40, and then 42, 46, 48, 49, and then just 50. Alright, so now that all our values are ordered, we can start working out what our quartiles are going to be, what our minimum, what our maximum is going to be, and what our median is going to be. So let's start out, let's just count out how many data values do we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And this should be the same. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 in each. Okay, so 14 data points. Now we need to work out our median. So because we have an even number of data points, 14 data points, we know that the median splits them into two. So this is going to split the data in each case into two sets of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the median is going to be the average of these two, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the average of these two. of these two values here. When it's an even number of data points, to find the median, we take the average of the two middle values. So we divide it by 2, and then we take the next one over. So if we divide our 14 data points into 2, we get the 7th data point, and then we take the 8, add that to the 8th data point, divide it by 2. So for class A, let's do this down here, class A, and then class B. For class A, the median is going to be equal to 34 plus 42, which are our two values here, divided by 2, which is going to be equal to 76, so that equals 38. And then our median for class B is going to be equal to 33 plus 37 over 2. And that is going to be equal to 35. Okay, so we've got our two medians. Now we just need to find our quartiles and our minimum and our maximum. Our minimum and maximum are going to be really easy, so we might just do that first. So for class A, our minimum value is 12, and our maximum value is 50. And for class B, our minimum value is 17, and our maximum value is also 50. Okay, now we just need to do our quartiles. So our quartiles are going to be essentially the median of the half of the bottom half and the median of the top 7 results. And quartile 3. So because the each half is broken into 7, and that's an odd number of values, we can use a formula to find out what the median is going to be. So it will be our 7th value plus 1 over 2, which is going to be our 4th value. For both of them, it'll be our quartile 1 will be our 4th value, and then for quartile 2, we just need to take the median of the top half. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll be 22. And you can see how that separates it into two groups of 3. So for class B, our quartile 1 is 22, and then 4 along for our quartile, for our third quartile, 1, 2, 3, 4. So quartile 3 is going to be 46, and it separates it into two groups of 3 either side again. Now we just need to do the others. So they're going to be 7 as well, so it's the 4th one along again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So quartile 1 for class A is 27, and quartile 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4 is 48. So we have our median, which is our quartile 2, we have our minimum and maximums, we have our quartiles 1 and 3. If you wanted to at this point, you could also calculate into quartile range and determine if there are any outliers. For this exercise, I don't really have the space, so we're just going to go with that there are no outliers in this set, which there doesn't seem to be too many values which you would consider extreme anyway. So now let's just do our parallel box plots. Our parallel box plots, alright? We'll draw a line. We'll think about a scale. So we're probably going to start at, what's the lowest value? It's 12. So let's start at 10s. So 10. What do we go up to? We go up to a maximum of 50. Let's just do 10s. With 5s in the middle. 20. 30, 40, 45, and 50. And then we'll just leave that there, and we'll draw our 2 arrows. Okay, so the scale is done, and now we just need to create 2 box plots. So our first box plot will make class A, we'll make it green, and class B we can make red. So let's start off with class A. So class A, we need their minimum value, which is going to be 12. So we draw our first whisker about here. And then for their maximum value, it's going to be 50. So we draw our second whisker here. And then for our quartile 1, we had 27. So there's 25, 26, 27, roughly about here. And then for our quartile 3, it's 48. So 45, 46, 47, maybe about here. Okay. Now, if you're doing this for a test or exam or in class, use a ruler, get a better scale going, but just for the sake of illustration, we're just going to do a rough job. So, we now need our median, which is 38. So 38, which is our median right here. Now we just need to draw these up. Create our box, link it to the whiskers, and this is our box and whisker plot for class A. Now we can do class B. So class B, the minimum value is going to be 17. Let's say about here. The maximum value is going to be 50 as well. The median is going to be 35, so exactly here. And then the quartile 1 is going to be 22. Something like this. And quartile 2 is going to be 46. So something like this. Now again, my scale and my drawing, a little bit wonky, but you'll get the kind of idea of what's going on here. So if we look at both of these from a comparison perspective, let's just write which one is which. This is class B, and this one is class A. So looking at both of these, what can we say? Well, they both have the same highest score. Class A obviously had the lowest mark. Class A, the top 25% all had a similar kind of value, which is good. So the top 25% of the class had a very consistent result, where the lowest 25% of class A had a very spread out result. It was a very wide range of scores in the lowest 25%. In class B, well, class A had 75% of them scored above 27, and for class B, 75% of them scored above 22. So we'd probably be saying, if we just had to do the comparison, class A have a wider range in terms of scores. They have much lower scores, but in general, 75% of the class is doing pretty well. So I'd say class A is probably our best bet here. So when you're writing this out for the comparison purposes, just make sure you list off a few things like which one has the highest score, which one has the lowest score. Use the quartiles. How did the top 25% go? How did the bottom 25% go? Where did the majority of students actually end up? So we talked about that earlier, like 75% of the class for class A ended up above 27, whereas 75% of class B were above 22. So it's just points of comparison to justify an opinion, which one you think did better.